Transmission begins.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the Josh Tolley Show on the GCN Radio Network.
All right, second hour, Josh Tolley Show, GCN Radio Network, 1-800-259-5791, 1-800-259-5791. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all those fun social sites. And, of course, the website, joshtolley.com, JOSHTOLLEY.com. While you're there, grab a copy of Entrepreneur. You already know the website. You already know all that stuff. So let's get back to it, shall we? But we do have a guest, and I want to get to the guest because I'm glad we got the connection to work out. And joining us, we have Marcus Dent. Marcus, welcome to the show. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, you're a regional leader for an organization named Guardian Angels, which is a great organization. But first, I want to say that, you know, we have a connection to you and your family through, I believe it's your sister. And Maria has been a great source of guests for us. And recently, is it my understanding you two have lost your mother?
No, it's not. Now, actually, I am one of the Guardian Angels. I'm a regional director for the Guardian Angels in Baltimore. And it's Curtis Sliwa is the founder, and that is her brother. And, yes, they just lost their mother.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah,
that's sad.
It is. So she was a great lady. Actually, it was Mama Angel. So that was her name, and that's what everybody called her.
Well, and it serves as a great example, too, of, you know, people talk to us all the time and say, hey, can I get involved somehow, some way? And it just goes to show that as long as you have the heart to try, you're never too old, you're never the wrong sex, you're never the wrong color, you're never the wrong anything if you put your heart and mind to it.
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And one of the things that I like about the Alliance of Guardian Angels is that, you know, when Curtis Sliwa put this group together, there is no such thing as you don't belong. I mean, everybody has a place within the Guardian Angels, and it's around the world. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing organization, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
So let's back up to the beginning. What was the foundation of this organization? What prompted its genesis?
Well, Curtis was from New York City, and during that time, he was a manager at McDonald's. And this is in 1979. And, of course, in New York City, the Bronx and all it was a rough time, politically, during the violence for the community, everything. It was just one of those times they were going through. And as a McDonald's manager, Curtis Sliwa, who was the founder of the Guardian Angels, remembers the havoc and trouble and the people running in who were being attacked. And it just got to the point where he said, look, you know what? Enough's enough. I have to do something. And as this McDonald's manager, Curtis grabbed a crew of his people that worked with him, and they went down to the subway. And they stood on the platform and they just watched. And, of course, down in the subways, I mean, you're pretty much bait, so he's watching, everything that's going on, the fighting and the pickpocketing and the robbery and all this stuff. And Curtis went back again the next day, same group, and said, look, you know what, we're going back, but we got to do something. We have to do something. And they started getting involved, to the point where, it got attention where people were really realizing, hey, wait a minute, we are going to go down to the subway and we're going to go here because there's these guys down there. We don't know, and at this time the Guardian Angels wasn't officially formed. It was just this bunch of guys that Curtis has drugged up, and said, hey, let's go down here and figure out what we can do. And during the time, they literally got hands on and got involved in whatever went on in that particular platform that they were standing at. And, of course, 38 years later, the Guardian Angels are still going. And, of course, they've done far more than just, protect one platform of a subway and then the communities. And, now we're around the world, Japan and England, and it's amazing.
Wow.
So the Guardian Angels was pretty, yeah. And, I mean, his way of telling people to, hey, let's get involved. This is an us and not me mentality, and has really worked. 38 years. I met the founder, Curtis Lewa, when I was 17 years old. I'm actually 53 years old now. When he came to Baltimore in the 1980s, my twin brother and I, we ran down to City Hall where the Guardian Angels were, and we couldn't wait to become a part of this because, they made their fame through the martial art magazines and the news clips, and you're like, man, this is amazing. Look at what these guys are doing. And, during that time, we stayed maybe 4 or 5 years as Guardian Angels, patrolling some of the roughest neighborhoods of Baltimore City. And in 2006, I came back to actually run the region for them.
Well, sir, hold on one second. I know we're just getting started, but we're up against a break, so we'll take that break and keep going right after this. Don't go anywhere, folks.
Yes, sir.
So the Guardian Angels, it's an organization that I'm sure we've all seen. The idea of taking back your communities, your streets. I remember in the 90s when they were being profiled a lot, and I was thinking, man, what a great way to say enough is enough. And we're talking to the Baltimore regional leader, Marcus Dent, about this mission. And, sir, I have a lot of questions. I'm actually honored to talk to you guys. I have a lot of questions about this. Where's that line between guarding your community, protecting your community, and vigilantism? Because that's always been one of those things that's, your detractors say, well, this is just vigilantes.
Well, that it's a fine line, but one of the good things about it is now early on when Curtis first started the organization in 1979, you can imagine that anything new or anything not understood is scary. And so therefore that's where the terms, the vigilantes, came in. And at that time, the Guardian Angels were brand new and were pretty much learning as you go. Now 38 years later, we have gained, I guess, we've pretty much proven that, hey, you know what, there's no such thing as the word vigilante to the people who know who the Guardian Angels are and what they're about. We train so much in each chapter as Guardian Angels. We don't carry weapons. We don't carry big, large flashlights or anything that can be used as a weapon. We're easily approachable. And we do everything we can to make sure that we're approachable to the community, and with our open hands, we don't have any issues with that. But our training alone has taught us so much on how to be a strong presence without the threat of violence, without the intimidation, and with our partners in law enforcement. So after 38 years, and you still hear it from time to time when people say, oh, those guys are vigilantes, those guys do this and those guys do that. And of course, it's not true. And we've lost a lot of that bad impression of the 1970s because we've maintained the consistency of being Guardian Angels and doing what we can to basically spread awareness and help educate communities. And we do that with the partnerships between the law enforcement agencies, the public officials, the community residents, and which is, my favorite part is the education and awareness part, where we're able to go into the communities and help teach them what it is they need to do to actually take back their own communities, or at least be a strong presence and leaders that they need to be for public safety. So the vigilante part pretty much has gone away unless people haven't seen the Guardian Angels in their community or don't know exactly what it is, which still goes on, but it's far, far less of a tag than what we had in the 1970s.
Well, yeah, and I think part of that is just the self-regulating entity that you guys have developed. Very few organizations, like you said, you guys are now global. Very few organizations, even with one location or chapter, can have that sort of self-purging. What's behind that? Is it everybody buys into the common philosophy, or is it the vetting process? How do you maintain such high standards?
Well, one good thing is the Guardian Angels, in my opinion, has had Curtis Sliwa consistently. Here's a man who basically has given his life to the organization, and has made sacrifices to make sure that this group stays and goes on with the vision that he created, where the Guardian Angels don't carry weapons, where we do get involved with the community. The community leads the Guardian Angels. It's a funny thing because it's made up of the community, so therefore the community guides it. But at the same time, we've had that strong presence, and even today people say, "Oh, is Curtis Sliwa still involved?" No, he is very much involved, and the Angels all over the world have such a great respect for his leadership and I guess his hands-on. I mean, he's always involved. The man doesn't sleep. He doesn't sit down. He is in constant communication with most chapters around the world. You'll get a phone call from Curtis. Hey, how are you? What are things? What's going on in your neighborhood? What's going on? What we got? So he's definitely hands-on. So his guidance and his spirit is one of the things that has kept the Guardian Angels the way the Guardian Angels are. We're not one of those vigilante type of groups. We haven't fallen out of grace because we've done something stupid where we've actually become a part of the stigma or the tag that we had in the 70s, what people expect. So we're always learning, we're always training, and I think now chapter commanders around the world, once you put on this uniform as a Guardian Angel, you understand that there are so many who've come before you, and one simple mistake can ruin us and take us right back to that 1979 phase. And so we're really, really careful of what it is we do and exactly how we do it. And
that's really good. That's really amazing, to be honest.
You think about look at and I hate to bring it up, but you look at the incident with the Trayvon Martin, and even when you have a community watch group where someone is getting hurt or they do something, and it really affects all groups around the world, especially the Guardian Angels, who's basically, with a Cadillac of community public safety groups. And we get so many calls about what it is. Oh, wow, what happened here? These groups are vigilante, these groups are that, and so we really have to walk the line to make sure that we do the best we can to make sure that we stay credible and we stay honorable in Curtis's mission. So it's not much different than any other group, individual organization who is willing to participate, but you also kind of self-police yourself because you don't want to be the one who messes up the great relationships and history of what it is you've created so far. So the Guardian Angels do a great job with self-policing themselves as well because they're proud to be Guardian Angels.
What sort of crimes have you guys prevented or stopped? Like, what are some of your success stories?
Oh, my goodness. Now, I remember I've been a Guardian Angel for so long, and we've evolved to everything from community cleanup groups to soldiers on the street, but who basically patrol bad neighborhoods. But me specifically, my team, we've stopped rapes, we've stopped road rage incidents, I can't tell you how many domestics that we've been involved in. But one of the things that I definitely want your listeners to know is that when the Guardian Angels are involved in something, we basically go out as deterrents to crime, and law enforcement is always the first phone call. Unless there's one of those things where there's a danger of somebody being, either hurt and or killed, the Guardian Angels will definitely get involved, and you'll get out of there safely. But law enforcement works with us, so we make sure that we don't do anything that can cross that line. That's going to say, okay, now, we had a crime in progress, but we interfered, and now we've either muddied the waters of it or tore up the credibility of actually what went here because of something that we've done. So, but basically everything I mean, you name it. As far as my time with the Guardian Angels, there's not much that hasn't happened. Everything from missing persons to breaking up fights to actually assisting police in community matters where of course, here in Baltimore we had the Freddie Gray incident. So there's so many things that the Guardian Angels are involved in now. And of course we have the positive stuff like the Junior Guardian Angels, and the senior self-defense training and stuff like that. So, but, once you learn that level, once you get that level of trust from the community and, you're walking around in that Guardian Angel uniform, people expect you to have the right answer. They expect you to know exactly what it is they're doing. And we, as Guardian Angels, the majority of our mission is to spend time with the victims of crime.
Well, sir, hold on 1 second. We're up against another break. We'll take that and talk a little bit about how do people join? How do we grow the organization? Don't go anywhere, folks. All right, we're talking to Marcus Dent with the Guardian Angels. He's the Baltimore Regional Manager. And speaking of Baltimore, sir, we have a caller from that very town who wants to say something. Tom, welcome to the show. You have a message for Marcus?
Yes, I do, Josh. Mr. Dent, we've never met. I'm retired from the city of Baltimore. I policed there. In fact, as an old man, I go back to the 90s when you guys weren't treated very well by our mayor, Kurt Schmoke. I want you to know you had a lot of police in your corner. However, as smart of a man as Kurt was, I do not know why he thought that he could tell you guys you can't make citizens arrests. He can't change the law. But, again, I wanted you to know you had a lot of police support. And, Josh, I wanted, more importantly, for everyone to know, I know Mr. Dent is probably too modest to say this, he just received a very, very prestigious award from the Baltimore City Police Commissioner. It's the Baltimore City Police Commissioner's Award. It was presented to him in April, and it's presented to people who go above, mostly police and first responders and folks like him involved in an organization such as the Guardian Angels who go above and beyond the call of duty to save lives of their fellow comrades, citizens, and the like. So I wanted to congratulate him on air and let everyone know what a wonderful job he's doing and how lucky Baltimore is to have him.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Well, thank you, Tom.
All right, gentlemen, I'll let you get back to the show.
Thank you, sir. Well, Marcus, you're humble.
That was a great call.
Yeah, that was a great call. So let's say other people want to learn by your example. They want to walk in your footsteps. What's the process? Is there a vetting process, a training program? How does it work?
There is a training program, and the first thing they have to do is go online and punch up Guardian Angels, and they can go to the Guardian Angels in whatever city or whatever country they're involved in, and they set up a meeting with their regional chapter commander, and they'll be called into the Guardian Angels, and we do take the applications. We do somewhat of the background checks, and there is a sort of a 3-month training program that covers everything from understanding body language to learning about the history of the Guardian Angels, and public safety, first aid, self-defense, you name it. We never stop training, but there is a process, but it's one of those things where you kind of get a chance to come in, and I do it in Baltimore all the time, is invite people to come, go to your local Guardian Angel chapter and just spend some time with them and watch what it is they do and see some of the things that they do. And what I like is to find, once that person comes in, what they are good at and where their passion is. And then we try to key something towards them so that they feel like I can bring this to the table. Oh, well, this is great then. Let's do that then. So we're pretty careful of who we bring in because, we have our reputation. And we want to make sure that the volunteers that do come in, have a mission of their own that they want to bring to the table. We want them to feel involved and that they're doing something. And it's not just our agenda. People join the Guardian Angels for so many different reasons, and we try to let them know that, hey, we listen to you. You're part of our team now. What are your concerns, and how can we help you, because you are now helping us? And the training never stops, which is what I liked. In everything, and we reach out to the public officials, the police department, the FBI, and, we get training from pretty much everyone. And people are glad to help because they see the service that we're doing in the community, and it only enhances what it is they do. So if you're interested in the Guardian Angels, reach out to the local Guardian Angel chapter. You can do it by going online and finding a chapter near you and set up an appointment. And if you just want to learn more or kind of see what they do, say, hey, I'd like to come by and spend some time with you guys, or maybe do a patrol with you guys, or maybe take care of an event, or even invite the Guardian Angels to come to your community association meetings and talk about what it is they do. So there's so many different ways to get engaged in the Guardian Angels, and everybody is so receptive. It's something we love doing. We're a community organization, so that's what we do.
Very cool. Have you noticed over your years of doing this, anything that just kind of triggers or breeds a bad environment? And if so, are any of those things growing or changing in your perspective?
Yeah, it's easy to pick out the communities or the neighborhoods, and it's funny because one of the things that we do here, in Baltimore, when we get a phone call from someone, is okay, where do you live? Tell me what your specific concerns are, and then you pretty much, and I'll always go down and see the neighborhood myself without anybody knowing. But what we'll usually find is from the best communities to the worst communities, it's a community. It's all the same. And I think that you don't have to be the socialites, of a neighborhood to have a safe neighborhood. You just have to get involved. And a lot of times what I find is that, and I'm sure you Josh, has heard of the broken window syndrome and that sort of thing. But once you get your community involved, no matter what the status or what your problems or what your issues or what your makeup, once you get that community involved together, collectively, not just as Guardian Angels, but involved to the point where, okay, hey, we're going out and we're cleaning our block up, or we're leaving our lights on at 7 o'clock tonight, or maybe we're reaching out to our post officer to build a relationship with the police department. But you send a signal to the bad guys, let them know that this community is doing something. We're watching you. We have pride in what it is and where it is we live, and we're just not going to accept this kind of violence. And you'll see the violence drop. But it's all about community input and participation. Whether you join the Guardian Angels or the health club down the street or the police association meetings, but you have to rally around and get your community involved. And it's the little things that you do that sends a signal to the bad guys in the community. If you're going to leave a blind eye to the 7 or 8 drug dealers standing on your corner every single day and nobody bothers them, nobody makes a phone call to the police, and you just let it go on, this is going to grow, because now you're inviting all of this stuff into it. It's just like leaving food on the floor in the kitchen and allowing the roaches to come eat as they will. But as soon as you pick those crumbs up and you throw them away, there's no reason for these roaches to be there anymore, because all of a sudden they know that if you drop a crumb, you're going to pick it up. But this is all part of the education part of the Guardian Angels, where we go into the communities and, you're obviously not going to have enough police officers to make each community safe. You're not going to have enough Guardian Angels to keep each community safe. But if you live here, and the Guardian Angels and the police department will both help you organize and show you tips of how you can make your community safe again. Every community can do it. But like you said, I'm sure that you and your travels and all the people that you come across, you don't just hear the good stories on your show. You hear some of the bad stories, and there's so many things you wish that you can do. But think about it. When you have a story, and it's one of those stories that touches so many people, then all these people start banding together. Good things start to happen. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as people get onto this idea that somehow standing up is scarier than continuing to be the victim. It
really is. And, and fear is only temporary. It's a temporary thing, because the only thing that scares people is the unknown. All you have to do is look at it and say, okay, what is it we have here? What are we addressing? And once you break it down, it's not as scary as it is. And the good thing is you look at your law enforcement agencies and you look at your community liaison groups and your community associations and, of course, the Guardian Angels. And once you reach out to them and say, hey, our community needs help. How can you assist us in making our community better? And every community has community associations and some sort of civil groups that are out doing something. But a lot of people don't know they're out there, or they don't want to reach out to them. And not because they don't want to, but because they don't know how to. And one of the things that we do as Guardian Angels is we go in and we say, okay, what is it you need? We'll walk with you, We're not going to walk for you. And a lot of times people want to know what to do, and we just help guide them in what to do. And before you know it, you got community leaders that are working with you as community leaders because they go out and they empower other people. And that's the gift that Curtis Lewa has brought to the Guardian Angels. He has created so many different leaders in so many different places around the world who are out doing something. And every time you touch somebody, there's a ripple effect. And it leaves a positive mark, and I'm just so proud to be a part of this.
Well, Marcus Dent, I'm glad that you are being recognized for your service. I'm glad your service is changing communities. Give everybody the website one more time.
If you want to join the Guardian Angels, look up guardianangels.org. And then there's also going to be a link that's going to reach out to Guardian Angels all over the world, so you'll find one in your city. And just send an email, and every email, every phone call is answered and addressed, and we will definitely get back to you.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
I can't thank you enough, so I appreciate the time.
All right, folks, that does it for today. We're out of here. It does it for this weekend, so be safe. We'll do it again on Monday. Remember, no victim, no crime. Look into jury nullification. Today, tomorrow, as always, may your path lead to heaven, and may freedom follow in your footsteps.